What's up, guys? Welcome to another Tuesday Night Trash Talk with me and my buddy Triple P. This is
Yo, yo,
episode
yo.
60, man. 60 episodes so far.
Have we
Man,
done that many?
oh, we've done a lot.
Holy cow. I can't believe it's been that many.
Oh, yeah. Well, when did we start this? We started this, I believe
But
it
we're
was
on.
March of 2022 was when we started this.
We're on season 2, so
Yeah, which season 3 is around the corner.
man, it seems like we just started it yesterday.
Season 3, come back New Year's with, December. I think we take the month off for the holidays, and then we come back January, new season.
Yeah, I think we actually took it off like right before Thanksgiving last year, if I remember correctly. We took like a 5 or 6 week hiatus.
Yeah, and then we come back.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan for this year. I'm game.
Yep. So how you been? How's your week?
Well, I'm counting down the days to vacation. I've got 3 more days at work before I'm on vacation. It's about another about another week and a half, but it's only 3 more work days. So that's awesome.
And where are you going again?
Cancun, Mexico.
There you go.
8 days and 7 nights in Riviera Maya. We're actually going to be staying at a 5-star resort that is actually about 2 to 3 hours south of Cancun. We're actually going to be closer to Tulum than Cancun. So we're actually south of Playa del Carmen.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So it's going to be a great time.
So, since, you are a pilot, and I got a couple questions for you, and I think it's interesting. And, since Tuesday Night Trash Talk, we talk about everything on this channel, on this stream. But lately, I've been getting blown up on my Facebook on these this air disasters and stuff, and like miracle landings and all that stuff. And it's actually a really entertaining TV show documenting, these pilots and how they survived, or how the planes failed, or, some pilots and people, are able to walk away, and some aren't, unfortunately. But I want to, go over a couple of these miracle, piloting.
Okay.
And I also want to go over a couple of these really terrible crashes. But
Okay.
remember how I told you that Sully? I was like, oh, he owes, he was an amazing pilot. He was, probably one of the best. Well, after watching this show, I realized real quick that he does not compare at all to a lot of these guys.
Correct.
And one that really amazed me, and shit, if I was the passengers, I'd be kissing his feet, was it was a Honolulu Airlines. I forgot his name. I probably shouldn't have forgot his name. That's a name you should remember. But they were flying, and something happened. There was an explosion, a combustion or something. Nine passengers flew out during the suction. So there were some lives lost. But the whole top of the plane pretty much blew off. And the pilot and his first officer were able to fly this plane to the airport while the plane was buckling, while the heavy winds, it's -0, -10 degrees up in the air. People are hardly breathing because of that low oxygen. This pilot managed to land the plane intact and everyone be able to evacuate safely, besides the 9 people who died. Holy shit, dude.
So
you know anything about that?
I know all about it. At my previous airline that I worked for before I came to my forever job, which is where I'm at now. But at that previous company, pilots do something called jump seating. And what jump seating is basically a pilot just hitching a ride. Generally, if there is a seat in the back of the aircraft, they sit in the back with the passengers, but sometimes all of the seats in back are filled up and it's necessary for them to sit in the cockpit jump seat. I had Mimi Tompkins in my jump seat. Mimi Tompkins was the first officer on that Aloha Airlines flight. So obviously, when I found out who she was, it was actually a flight from Houston, George Bush Intercontinental Airport to Washington, D.C., Dulles International. And when I found out who she was, I treaded lightly and I brought it up a couple of times throughout casual conversation. And she was very polite and cordial about it, but I just, judging by her body language and the way she was carrying on the conversation, I could tell that she did not really want to discuss it. So I kind of let it go. But yeah, I had her in my jump seat for like 3.5 hours, and most of the time it was just casual conversation, chit-chatting. But there was one flight attendant who actually got sucked out of that aircraft in flight. I believe they were in like the low 20s, 23 or 24,000 feet, I want to say, when it happened. It was an older model, Boeing 737. It had a lot of cycles on it. And a cycle is basically defined as, you start the engines and then you shut them down. That's a cycle. Well, generally, you start the engines, you fly, and then you shut down the engines, and it's a flight. That's still a cycle. So this plane had like thousands and thousands and thousands of cycles on it. And you got to think of an airplane fuselage as like a balloon. When it pressurizes, it expands out. And then when you descend, it slowly depressurizes to be equal to, the pressure outside at the airport you're landing at. Well, it does this, thousands of times, and eventually you're going to start having issues where there might be some metal fatigue cracks and things like that. And, you have to address that. And Aloha Airlines did not address an issue with a fatigue crack forming. And as they pressurized climbing through like 20 some odd thousand feet, the fuselage gave way and it basically turned a 737 into a convertible. So it sucked out, I believe, I forget what her name was, but she was a native Hawaiian, and she was sucked out immediately. I think one passenger was interviewed, and he said all he reported was seeing her feet go up, and that was the last anybody ever saw of her. And I think she was lost at sea. I mean, obviously she was.
I don't think they discovered any of the bodies.
Well, there was only one body. There was only one body.
9
She was
people
the only.
that were sucked out.
Were there more than that? Okay, then I
think
stand
there
corrected.
was passengers lost their lives too. Just 9 or so.
So I mean,
open.
I can understand why Mimi didn't want to discuss that, because it's never fun to, it's bad memories. You don't want to think about that stuff.
Knock on wood, this never happens in your career, but can you imagine that ride, dude?
Yeah.
Could you imagine that?
Well, I mean, if you're falling for several minutes.
Well, not just that. Just the people, just the pilots, just the passengers that were in that plane during that whole time.
So,
can you imagine the post-traumatic stress disorder you'd have for the rest of your life?
Well, I mean, it's a
Holy
miracle that the
fuck.
fuselage stayed together.
Yeah, and
It's
even the passenger said it was buckling. You know, the one guy was kind of experienced. One of the passengers was kind of experienced in planes, and he was, being interviewed. He said the plane was buckling, like it was holding on by a thread, and they confirmed that once it landed, that they were surprised it didn't break in half.
now I will tell you one thing that Mimi did tell me is when they were descending and on the approach to land, she did say it was kind of turbulent, which, I mean, it's hot in Hawaii, so you're always going to have a bumpy ride down. And she did say they were very concerned about it holding together in the turbulence as they were shooting the approach.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, if you think about it, you're a test pilot, right? I mean, I don't care who the aircraft manufacturer is, if it's Boeing, if it's Airbus, if it's McDonnell Douglas, it doesn't matter. I mean, at that point, you're a test pilot. You don't test airplanes to have half of the structure give way and see how it flies with half the structure missing. I mean, that's not its intended purpose.
That brings me to another plane pilot, expert piloting, which was outstanding, and luckily this was a long flight and they had two crews. So I guess when you're traveling, say from New York to Australia, long flights, there's usually, two pilots and two first officers, so they can take turns. Well, I forgot where they were going, and I forgot the flight of the plane, but I know what plane it was. It was a 757, so it's humongous. And the rudder tilted. They had no control of the rudder. So the pilot had to take control of the plane. And they did whatever they could. Whatever they could to keep. And I mean, they said they had to switch off every 10 minutes because their feet would turn into jello. Their arms would turn into jello.
Sure.
And
you said it was what type of airplane? You broke up on the aircraft type.
I think it was a 747.
Okay.
And they managed to land it. They flew that plane for quite a while.
So here's the thing, Patriotic. What other choice do you have at that point? I mean, you're the only one up there. I mean, you and your first officer, and if you guys fell, there is no second chance. You might have a couple hundred people that die, but you're dying with them. I mean, no one's going to walk away from something like that. So at that point, what other choice do you have?
You got no other choice. You got to do your best, or you're screwed.
And that's why you always, if something goes wrong, you always, always, always fly it all the way down to the ground, no matter what happens. I mean, I always tell Mrs. Triple P, if something catastrophic goes wrong on one of my flights someday, they're going to have to cut my freaking fingers off of the stick to get my dead body off of that stick, because I will be trying every last thing I can all the way down to the ground.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. I mean, it's unfortunate. The ValueJet crash that happened in Florida, that was another catastrophic one. ValueJet 592. Those poor people were dead the second the aircraft took off. The second they went wheels up, they were already on fire, but they didn't know it. And as soon as they sucked that landing gear into the wells and went airborne, they were literally dead people on a plane just waiting for it to burn up. I mean, it's sad. But you know what? Of all those incidents, you brought up Sully. And I think I told you several shows ago that Sully doesn't even come close. And I think now you understand what I was talking about.
Yeah.
The most prolific captain, in my opinion, whoever lived, and he just passed away recently, but he was leaps and bounds better than Sully ever could dream of being. Was
And that was
Captain L. Haynes on United 232, the DC-10 that crashed in Sioux City, Iowa. And I think about 1/3 of the 300 people on board, I think about 100 and something of them died. But he managed to save those other 200 people's lives, and he landed a DC-10 that was, for all practical purposes, unlandable. He lost all hydraulics. It's kind of like you put a brick on your gas pedal and you cut off the steering wheel of your vehicle. That basically is what he had to work with. I mean,
yeah.
he had no control of the airplane whatsoever. The only control he had was engine thrust. He
You
had
know,
the control yoke did nothing. The rudders did nothing. He had nothing to work with except
gliding
asymmetrical
plane.
thrust on his engines to try to control a turn rate and to try to control
Did he have reverse?
his altitude. That's all he had.
Did he have reverse?
Well, I mean, the plane crashed on impact in Sioux City, Iowa. So, I mean, there was no reverse because the cockpit literally
Did it
broke
crash
away.
or did he land it and it crashed?
Well,
Like,
he landed it, but then it cartwheeled after he touched down.
so it was just got lucky that people survived.
Yeah, but it's a miracle that he even made it back to the airport.
Yeah. You know, that's like, and you know, Sully, I can't take away from the guy because I also learned that, you know, you think when you got nowhere to land, water would be a good thing. It's flat, you know what I mean? The plane can kind of skip like a rock across it. Well, that ain't the case. That's dire. That's like last option in the book is landing a plane in the water. And I guess by seeing videos and watching the show, once a plane hits water, it pretty much disintegrates or flips and cartwheels and it can get torn apart.
That's not totally true. We all know that planes land in the water just fine from Sully doing it in the Hudson River, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's what I'm saying. He must have.
but
He landed it decently.
well, it's just a matter of it's a little bit of skill and it's also a little bit of luck, but it's definitely not the hardest thing to do. And if you really want to get technical about it, and I can speak with a fair amount of authority on that incident because I fly the same exact plane that Sully landed in the Hudson. I fly
You fly
the
an Airbus
A320.
3,
That's my aircraft. And the
Airbus
aircraft
320,
has
right?
some what's that?
Airbus 320, right?
Correct. And the aircraft has something called a ditching push button. The ditching push button is a guarded switch that you lift up, and when you push it, that closes all of the vents and all of the orifices on the outside of the aircraft. So there's holes on an aircraft that open and close all the time. For example, there's an outflow valve in the very back of the airplane. It's usually, well, on my plane, it's in the back of the aircraft on the right-hand side of the aircraft. So it would be aircraft right. And it's a hole that's probably about, I'd say maybe about 4 or 5 inches in diameter. And it's got a valve on it and it opens and closes and it regulates the pressure of the cabin. So that hole, when you push that ditching push button, it completely closes. It closes all these orifices to stop water from getting into the aircraft. Well, Sully did not even remember to push that ditching push button. So the plane, in theory, could have floated a lot longer than it actually did if he would have remembered to push the ditching push button. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from the guy because we all know it's easy to sit back and Monday morning quarterback something. Even when there's a police shooting, what does everybody do? They always sit back and Monday morning quarterback and, well, you should have pepper sprayed him or he should have tasered him. Why do you have to shoot him? Or he should have shot him in the leg. And
It's different in the situation.
right. And well, first of all, you never aim for the leg anyways, but that's a whole nother story. I digress. But my point is it's easy to Monday morning quarterback something when you're not in that situation. But when you're in that situation and your adrenaline is pumping and your heart is racing 1,000,000 miles an hour, it is not nearly as easy to function. And it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of training to be able to survive things like that when they happen. And
Yeah.
one of the things that most people don't understand, and I always describe, all of my friends have heard me say this before, flying is 99.8% boredom and 0.2% sheer tear.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's those 0.2% moments of sheer terror that you train for. I mean, we don't go into the simulator and we don't train for sitting back with our seats kicked back up reading a newspaper with the autopilot on. We don't train for that. We train for when shit hits the fan, right?
Now, how often do you have to do simulators?
Every 6 months.
Every 6 months. And they train you for every scenario every 6 months?
They train us for a lot of shit. They train us for the most common things that go wrong, but you can never train for every scenario. I mean, Sully's the perfect example.
Have they trained you for water landings? Have they trained you for fuselage explosions? Have they trained you for fires?
Fires, yes. But we really don't train for things that are unrealistic and are not supposed to happen. So there is a checklist that Airbus makes for ditching, but we don't necessarily train for it in the simulator per se because it's not supposed to happen. But I mean, we carry something called a QRH, which is a quick reference handbook, and that has all of your emergency procedures in it. Yeah. So there's a procedure for almost everything that can go wrong, but you can never train for every possible thing.
No, exactly.
So
and it goes
we focus on engine failures, engine fires, aborted takeoffs. We'll focus for a thrust reverser deployment in flight. I mean, we focus on things that are more realistic that can go wrong, hydraulics issues, electrical issues.
And again, it goes back to, you can train for all this stuff and help you be prepared, but when the situation happens, you don't know how it's going to really go.
Yeah, I mean, I've had plenty of emergencies in my career, and most of them are kind of a non-event. I mean, I can count the times on one hand where I've been concerned, and I've been flying for over 2 decades. And I can count maybe 2 or 3 times in over 2 decades where I've been like, okay, this might not be good.
Have you ever had a full engine failure?
Oh yeah, of course.
All engines failed?
Oh no, not all engines. No. I've had an engine failure in a single engine Cessna before.
Oof.
Way back when I was in my flight training days, way before the airlines. So you're a glider at that point. You have no engine, but I mean, I've been flying multi-engine turbojet aircraft for decades. I mean, 2 decades. That's all I know. So you lose an engine and you have another one. I mean, there's procedures for that, and the airplane will keep flying just fine.
Yeah. There's like another airline. It was an SAS airline, so Scandinavian airline. They had a full engine failure, and another good pilot. He was Danish. I forgot his name. But he, what he did, I guess he found a spot to land it, but the plane was going too fast. And now this, is not really the ideal way of slowing your plane down, but he noticed in the area because it crashed in Sweden, I think, or in the Baltic, wherever.
Yeah, I know the incident you're talking about.
Yep,
And
he cushioned his plane with tops of the trees to slow it down. He had they were like pine trees, very fluffy trees on the top. So he pretty much glided his plane on the top of it, just skimming it. So it wasn't enough to grip it, just to slow it down. The plane crashed. Everyone survived. There was like 100 and something people. They all survived. The plane split in half, but they all survived. And there was another pilot on board that was just flying with him. He wasn't, a pilot on that plane. He was flying to the next airport or whatever. He got injured, but they all survived.
And
that
that's the thing most people
too.
don't realize is most plane crashes are very survivable. Most plane crashes you walk away from. It's all about not panicking and maintaining aircraft control all the way down to the ground. So, I mean it's...
And at that point, it also depends on your pilot. Depends if you got a good team, and it depends if you know what they're doing. I'm going to trust a pilot that's been doing it for 30 years versus a pilot that's been doing it for 10. You know what I mean?
Well, there's no substitute for experience. But I would like to think that I'm a decent pilot myself. But at the end of the day, I'm the captain of the aircraft, not because I'm a better pilot than the guy sitting in the right seat. I'm a captain of the airplane because I got hired first. Because the way airlines work is everything is a seniority-based system. So when your number comes up to be able to upgrade to captain, you go to training, and if you can jump through all the hoops and you can pass training, then magically you're a captain. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm a better pilot or better airman than the guy in the right seat. It just means that I am the final authority when it comes to making decisions about the aircraft. And this is another misconception is people think that the captain takes takeoffs and lands. Like, it cracks me up every time we're deplaning and someone pokes their head in my flight deck and they're like, "Great landing, Captain." And I look over my right shoulder and I'm like, "Thanks, but it wasn't me." It's like, there is another pilot up here. And, we take turns. Like, if we're going to fly from point A to point B and point B back to point A, generally I'm going to ask him if he has a preference. This is not a written rule. This is just the way I do things. But I'll generally ask my first officer, "Hey, which leg you want?" And I'll let him choose. And if he doesn't have a preference, or if she doesn't have a preference, then as a gentleman, I will take the more difficult leg and I'll give them the easier one because I've already checked the weather, so I know where it's going to be rough. And if they don't have a preference, then I'll take the harder one. I mean, just because that's the way I am. And we take turns. Everything is split up with pilot flying versus pilot monitoring duties. And that's all part of crew resource management. It's all part of me setting the tone as a captain for my entire crew and working together.
Yeah.
Now, Silver and Cigars. I saw Silver and Cigars posted something way up here, and I was busy running my mouth. Here we go. Silver and Cigars said Triple P question. So I sat in the emergency door seat. That's the emergency exit window seat. Or if you were on an A321, then you would have had a door. I was thinking, if I pull this in the air, will it open, or does the pilot have to unlock it only in emergencies?
Yeah, no.
Okay, so that's a loaded question, Silver and Cigars. So here we go.
I had someone try it.
Yeah, Mrs. Triple P had someone try it in flight. She was a flight attendant. So let's start at the top. First of all, it's similar to an aircraft door. When the aircraft is pressurized, you'll never get it open. But on the A320 aircraft, we get a warning in the flight deck that the emergency exit hatch is open if you pull the cover off. So even if a passenger pulls off the little Velcro cover that's holding on the actual handle, that triggers the bells and whistles in our flight deck. So case in point number one, don't ever fuck with that unless you want to face some serious penalties, because you'll probably end up going to jail and probably end up paying a fine of monstrous proportions.
And banned from the airline.
But to answer his question, no, it will not open when the aircraft is pressurized. Now, here's the scary thing. And I don't know if any of you heard about this several months ago, but there was an A320 that was overseas. I forget which country it was. And somebody decided that they were going to open, was it the hatch, honey, or was it the door? I think it was the door, right?
It was the door.
Somebody decided they were going to open up the main cabin door in flight, and it's not supposed to open. Here's the scary thing. There is a spot on the pressurization schedule of the A320, and I want to say it's around somewhere between 1,000 to 3,000 feet above the ground. But there's a spot as the cabin is coming down where the pressurization of the cabin and the pressurization outside are almost equal. And if some dipshit tries to fuck with that door at that small, tiny window of where your differential pressure is almost like, I want to say it's like 0.1 or 0.2 pounds per square inch. If someone does that at that horrible moment, then you will get the door to open. And that's exactly what happened in flight. Was the door opened, the emergency exit slide inflated in flight, and I can't remember if I think the slide flew off the airplane, if I remember correctly.
It seems like it landed in someone's yard or something.
I want to say the slide got ripped off and landed in somebody's backyard. Anyways, yeah, don't ever fuck with doors or exits unless you're told to by a flight crew. Bad idea.
I mean, you're risking people's life. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that the bells and whistles go off in the flight deck just from fucking with the cover, not even the handle.
And
So like
cover, I actually had an emergency declared because the cover wouldn't stay on.
That's correct. Mrs. Triple P, I was not the captain on that flight, but she had an emergency declared by another captain that she was on the crew with. And apparently something happened with the emergency exit cover and it fell off, and they ended up declaring an emergency and diverting the aircraft. I don't know the details of why those decisions were made because I was not part of that crew. But yeah, like, so even if you have like little kids, like, don't let your 3 and 4-year-old kid fuck with it, because if they
kids shouldn't be anywhere near those exit doors.
Right, but if they reach over a seat,
no, the car seats are not even allowed to be in one row.
Well, you know what? That's why my wife was the flight attendant and I'm just the monkey in the front office. I'll just close my door and stay the monkey in the front office. She's going to start rattling all the regulations about car seats now.
You know, I've been in plenty of planes in my life and traveled a lot of places via plane. And I'm not that I'm scared of planes. I don't really enjoy them. I don't like going on them, but obviously some places you got to take a plane. But, you know, it's the thing with a car, you know, you get behind a car, and obviously there's more car accidents in planes because there's more cars on the road, but there's a big chance you're going to survive a car accident. With always in the back of my head, if something happens with a fucking plane, especially after watching this damn show.
Yeah, but we we just discussed that, right? I mean, most plane crashes are very survivable if you maintain
If the
control
pilot,
all the way down to the
yeah,
ground.
if the pilot knows what he's doing. But if you watch this show, there's a lot of fucking pilots that don't know what they're doing, or
Well,
they were
yeah, and then
doomed
there's
at the
things
start.
like if the aircraft breaks up. I mean, if you come down falling out of the sky, yeah, you're gonna die. You're not
Yeah,
gonna survive
especially
those G forces.
some of these planes, they stalled. You know, they go up, they stall, and then they're diving, and it's hard to get back in control. And
Silver
you're like,
Heist.
holy fuck, man.
Silver Heist cracks me up. Silver Heist
What's
just
up,
posted
Heist?
it. He just posted an epic comment. And I remember this incident. Here, I've got an update. That's why I want to bring up his comment, because I have an update on what happened. Male flight attendant quit, opened the door, drank a Bud Light, and slid down the slide while in flight. That's not exactly how it happened. Silver Heist, it was a JetBlue flight, and it was a JetBlue flight attendant, and they were taxiing to the runway. This male flight attendant decided he had had enough. And yes, I believe, if I remember correctly, he took 2 Bud Lights. He cracked open 2 Bud Lights, and he said to the passengers, fuck you, and fuck you. And he hopped on the slide, and he slid down the slide on an active taxiway. He was arrested, and obviously that was the last time he ever worked as a flight attendant. And I believe he also paid a tremendously hefty fine. Now, here's the update, and this is what's going to knock your socks off. The guy now is a multimillionaire. He became a motivational speaker talking about what he did.
Oh my God.
Yes. Can you
Good for
believe
him.
that shit?
Good for him.
Talk about turning lemons into lemonade. He's a millionaire, and he travels all over the country and probably all over the world doing motivational speaking.
Well,
Figure that shit out.
that's kind of like you remember watching that movie Wolf of Wall Street?
Which movie?
Wolf of Wall Street.
I don't think I've seen that.
The stock markets. The guy was, scamming people. He started a stock market. Leonardo DiCaprio played him.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it was a true story. He got in the stock markets in the 80s and became a multi-millionaire. Made all the people working, all the brokers working for him millionaires. Well, FBI, IRS, all them, found out that it was all fraud, and they arrested his ass, and he had to pay. They took everything away from him. He had to pay money, blah blah. Did some jail time. Well, he got out. They made a movie about it, and now the guy's a multimillionaire again. Just because they made a movie. Now he goes around and he teaches people how to make money, and he's kind of like a motivational speaker as well. He's doing these courses, where they'll go to hotels across the country and people pay $100 to sit in the class and and listen to the guy. He's like one of those things, and the guy's a millionaire again. You know what I mean? Just because of that movie. So it's kind of like, all right, you scammed the government. We're going to arrest your ass, and you're going to pay us this, and we're going to take everything away. You're going to do your time, thinking they ruined his life. No, he came out and made a movie about the dude, and now he's a multimillionaire. I think his name was Jordan something, Belfort or something. I forgot his name.
Interesting. I'll have to check it out. That's crazy.
Crazy. Shit. Yeah. Wolf of Wall Street, best movie ever. People love it. Yeah. You got to check that out, dude.
So when's your next vacation, Patriotic?
My next vacation? I think I'm going to do Outer Banks. I think we're going to rent out a beach house on the Outer Banks. That's probably around springtime. We got a couple indoor water parks. We're going to do during the winter here. But nothing crazy. I had that mishap at the house.
Yes.
And then, now it's from October to January is all my kids' birthdays and, Christmas. So, that, puts a damper on shit, so.
You should let us know about the Outer Banks. We might be able to go up there.
Yeah, we should.
We should
go up there.
I'll book the resort. I'll book the condo on the house. And if you want to stay a week, Silver Gold Stack Attack says he's going to come. So I think he's going to try.
That'd be awesome.
We have a house to stay at Oak Island.
I have a family beach house in Oak Island. So we could stay there for free, but that's not the Outer Banks.
That is the Outer Banks.
Is it the Outer Banks? Yeah. No, the Outer Banks is.
No, that is Outer Banks.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, the Outer Banks, I think we're going to stay in Corolla or Duck, which is North Outer Banks, which is more like the kind of richy, more quieted area. And that's where the wild horses roam, too. Corolla Duck is where the wild horses roam. What's
the name of the town?
There's Corolla and there's Duck. Then there's Kill Devil's Hills. There's Kitty Hawk.
See, I've never been up that way. I've always wanted to go check out like Kill Devil Hills and Kitty Hawk, where the Wright brothers took flight.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Never been there.
Let me know, because I'll probably book it soon. I know Silver Gold Stack Attack says he'll come. Hopefully.
What month are you thinking? Like, are we talking March, April, what?
I'm thinking like June.
June? Okay.
End of spring.
June could actually be doable. I bid for my vacation at work next month because we have to bid for our vacation a year in advance. So I should know what I get for vacation. I think by November is when I get my award. And I should have 4 weeks for next year.
There you go. Yeah,
so,
we'll figure out dates and stuff. I'm shopping for what house I should rent. I'm not trying to spend $20,000. So I seen a few for $7,000, $8,000. So I don't know.
Okay.
I'm still looking. But I want to be on the beach. So.
Okay, well that's cool.
I'm doing Airbnb rather than going through, Vacasa or those realtor companies.
So for like $8,000, you'll be right on the beach then?
Yeah, there's some of them. Yep, $8,000. I'm still looking, but that's what usually on the beach goes. But you know what? I'd be fine too, because you have the ones directly on the beach, and then the next row, and just the next row, and it's literally a 30-second walk. It's much cheaper. So.
Wow.
When we went to Virginia Beach for Sandbridge, when we went to Sandbridge 3 weeks ago, we were right on the beach. But I stayed. That was more of it was their privately owned house, but it was a condo. It was more like multiple people owned a house in this building, owned a room in this building. So, but the year before that, I stayed in the beach house. And that beach house in Sandbridge, Virginia Beach was, I think, $7,000. So, and that was literally not exactly on the beach, but the next row over. So,
okay.
I'm gonna play with numbers and figure it out. But the more people we have, the cheaper it is.
So is it be like a 3 or a 4 bedroom beach house then, or what?
Oh no, there are 3 or 4 floors.
Oh shit!
With 3 or 4 bedrooms on each floor, so no one's.
Oh well, let's fill that. Let's fill that motherfucker up and make it a party.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a. I don't. I like to travel with people, but I don't like to fucking be on top of everybody. So that's the good thing about these beach houses, because, like the one we stayed in Sandbridge last year, There was 3 floors. One floor, the first floor had bedrooms, their own bathroom, own kitchen. Second floor, own bedrooms, own bathrooms, own kitchen, own living room. And the top floor, third floor, same thing. So it's like, 3 homes in one house.
Wow.
Obviously, you share
So,
share a pool and a hot tub and stuff, but
well, I'll tell you what, man. Even if it was just like my family, your family, and Silver and Gold Stack Attack's family, even if it's $9,000, that's only $3,000 for each of us for the week. That's not horrible.
for 7 days.
Yeah, that's not cheap. Horrible at all. That's great.
Cheap. Yeah, exactly. And that's what
I
it
mean,
is.
that's like it's like an ounce and a half of gold.
Yeah, if it was just me, I'd say fuck that. That's too much. Because you know what? You're not even really at the fucking place. When me and my wife and my kids go somewhere, we're never really at the hotel because we're always doing something. But when I would like to relax, I like to chill at the hotel or the resort, But
right.
3 people for 7 days, $3,000, that's cheap.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah,
Silver High said, I once saw a hot female flight attendant going through security X-ray vision machine, and I was expecting a stampede of TSA agents to go to the TV monitor.
Dude, can you imagine what those TSA guys see all day? Because I guess you can go through these X-rays and you can see fucking everything. I mean, everything.
Well, here's the thing. You don't have to go through them. And this is what most people don't know. You don't have to go through those enhanced vision systems. All you have to do is tell TSA, I'd like to opt out. Now, if you tell them that, they are going to give you a, feel you up kind of search, pat you down, and it's kind of just as much of an intrusion, if not more. But if you don't want to go through their X-ray machine, all you have to do is say, I opt out and I'd like alternative screening.
So you can deny it?
You're not. You're just saying I opt out. I'd like alternative screening. I opt out.
Really? So what's your alternative? Fucking pull down your pants, bend over, and cough?
No, they won't even take you into a private room. They're just gonna pat you down. They make you empty your pockets. They make you take your belt off, take your shoes off, and they pat you down with the back of their hand, and they
guys with a Taliban wrapped around their head walk up and they say, "Oh, I opt out."
And then they say, "Okay, no problem. Have a good flight, sir."
Fuck that. Fuck that. You're getting searched no matter what. Bend over, bub.
Good grief.
I hope they don't try this bomb up my rectum.
Tried stacking said, I opt out. Pat me down slowly. Yeah, it's not very comfortable. They basically jiggle your balls. It's not fun.
Jiggling balls. Yes.
Yeah. And if you're a woman, they literally, what do they do to you, honey? They like pop your titties out of your bra or something?
They literally like full on like rub their back of their hands under your titties, and then they literally, if you're wearing ass shorts, they're literally might as well be grabbing your ass.
And let me guess, they're 300-pound black women doing it.
I don't know. They're not very cute. I know that. And then,
every time they're in the airport and this TSA
formula for the kid through security, because that's another whole nightmare.
They're always fat old men or fat black women that are always checking you and making.
So are you trying to say that if it was a young, hot-looking man, you would feel better about it, Patriotic?
No,
you walked into that one, bro.
There is something called TSA say
Well, at least
care.
make it entertaining, you know?
They, like, especially kids, they escort you to the front of the line, almost like TSA pre-check, and you get through quick.
I think Trident would make a good TSA worker. Step here on this line, asshole. Let's check you. Bend over, motherfucker.
Well, you've heard Trident singing, right? So you've heard Trident singing, right? So I could see Trident working for TSA, and it would be put it in a big tub, push it through the X-ray.
You got any acorns in your bag? You got any acorns in your bag?
I'll let you bring through your knife if you give me some pine cones.
Who's your fantasy football pick? Did you pick fantasy football?
Fantasy, I want to say, nice try beating me, Emerald.
Emerald's in the chat too. Emerald's in. Hold on. Mrs. Triple P has a message for Emerald.
Nice try beating me this week, Emerald. Try harder next time.
Ooh, ouch. Man, she's rubbing salt in the she's rubbing salt into the wound. Ouch.
Can you picture strategic silver stacker as a TSA agent? Step on this line. Let's see if you have any silver in there. You got any silver in there? Let's go see if you have any silver. You know, silver's a thing to stack, you know.
I'd like to see Silver Heist working for TSA. Silver Heist, it would be, I sent somebody to go through the metal detector, and then this happened.
Let's take out the chalkboard. Let's figure how this got in your pocket.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
Silver Heist Trident, and strategic silver stacker. All a TSA agent working at the same airport. Oh my God, that'd be a fucking show right there.
Or I got one for you. How about Oceans? Oceans working for TSA. It would be Stack Wide is the metal detector. Well, let's see. I gotta come up with something better than that. What do you got for Oceans? Come up with something for him. He's in the chat.
I can't picture Oceans being a TSA agent.
Oceans is he's a little harder to pick on.
Yeah, I can't picture Oceans, as a TSA. Strategic, I can picture Trident, Silver Heist, Sal. Let's explore.
Yeah, here comes someone opts out of going through the enhanced vision machines, and they say they opt out, and Sal comes over and he's like, "Let's explore."
Oh,
bend over.
You're opting out of the X-ray today, huh? Well, let's bend over and let's see. Let's explore. I appreciate you doing this today. Let's bend over and cough for me, can you?
Here's one for you. You know Campbell's Coins. You know what he says at the end of every video, right? Your time is your most precious asset, and I appreciate you spending it here with me. So how about Campbell's Coins? Your ass is your most precious asset, and I appreciate you spending it here with me.
I could just, dude, I think strategic silver stacker needs to be a TSA agent. Is silver making you poor? Is rounds making you poor? Are eagles making you poor? Let's see if you got any silver in your bag. Let's open up your bag. Let's take a run to it. So let's see what you have in there. I tell all the people that silver is a good thing to stack. He's like freaking Billy Bob, what's his name? Billy Bob Thornton and Sling Blade mixed with Forrest Gump, mixed with like a New Englander. He's got that voice.
Yeah.
cracks me up every time I watch him.
That's
YouTube stackers strategic here. You know, you got to have that, New England accent with the Silva. I bought some Silva today. What kind of Silva been strategic? I laugh how he talks in third person. It's fucking great. Like, he's like, oh, what did Big Boy Strategic get today? Strategic bought some American Silver Eagles. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, speaking of American Silver Eagles, I just got another tube of Eagles in the mail today. So I officially only need one more tube to complete my monster box now.
I just need 11.
11 more tubes, but that's your second monster box, right?
This one's my second monster box. And I started this monster box July 26th. So, it's officially been 2 months since I started the second monster box. So, I stacked 14 tubes. Yeah, 14. 12,
Wow.
14. Yeah, 14. Yeah, so I need 11 more, and I'm done. I got one on the way right now. And this one was cool because pretty much the second monster box, all so far but one, are all 2023s. The one tube I bought was a 2017, and that's when the premiums just went down a few months back. But then I was like, you know what? Let me buy. What site was I on? Bullion Exchanges. They had random dates, and I was like, fuck it. Let me see what I can get. It was $3 cheaper than the 2023 tubes. So most of the time they say random date, back date. They give you the newest year. Well, I had it mailed to Silver Gold Stack Attack's house, so I can try to avoid taxes. And,
you are the cheapest fucker I know.
Dude, in New York,
that's why you're a fucking multimillionaire. You're fucking cheap.
Yeah. Okay. In New York, it's $1,000. So I've been buying so much and paying so much shit lately. I just wanted a tube. I didn't want to, I should have just bought two, but I just wanted to buy one this week. So that's what I did. So in order to avoid that $50 tax, I sent it to his house. But he just got it yesterday. I said, hey, open it up. I want to see what years they sent me. So I said, watch it be 2023s, which I wouldn't care, but I was hoping for some back dates. And luckily, they were 2015s, which is cool because I have pretty much every year, besides a few years, of Eagles. But I didn't have a tube of 2015s. And I've always wanted a tube, but I didn't want to pay the crazy markup that these dealers charge for like the back dates. For some reason, like on eBay, the 2015s are, $700, $800 a tube. I said, fuck that. So they were 2015s, and I paid like $570 for them. And, that's great. And the reason why I wanted the 2015s also is because it was the year my first child was born, and it was the year me and my wife got together. So it's a close year to me. But yeah, so that was my latest tube.
So now the only thing that's left for you is to order some of those 2024 Britannias that are coming out.
Fuck that. What I'm focused on right now is finishing the Eagle Monster box. I still need to get 3 more RCM 10-ounce bars to get to 20 of them. I'll have 200 ounces of them. So I just need 3 more of those. But where I usually buy those bars, Liberty Coins sold out. So I'm waiting for them to stock up. Because for some other reason, other places or other dealers are like $10 to $15 more than what Liberty was selling them for. So I've been holding out on that. But recently, the Royal Canadian Mint must have upped the production in their RCM kilo bars, because the RCM kilo bars were, on secondary market when you could get them. They were selling for $1,200–$1,400. Well, JK Pioneer pointed out to me on one of my videos. He said JM Bullion was having a sale on RCM kilo bars, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. So I clicked on it. It was $815, and I ordered me one. And shortly after that, Pinehurst Coins got a load of RCM kilo bars in. So I think the Royal Canadian Mint must have upped the production on their kilo bars, because they didn't make many before. Probably because the Royal Mint joined the Kilo Bar Club and made that bar so stackers can stack it, being cheap silver that people can buy. So I think the Royal Canadian Mint was like, you know what, we got to kind of make our kilo bar more affordable, low in premium, so people can stack them.
Right.
And if you noticed, with the RCM kilo bars, they are 3/9 fine rather than 4/9 fine. And the Royal Canadian Mint, everything that comes out of the RCM, their maples are 4/9 fine, their 10-ounce bars are 4/9 fine. All their silver's 4/9 fine, all their gold's 4/9 fine, or it's 5/9 fine. So I think what they did to kind of cut the cost was, first of all, they cast the bar. It's not a press bar like their 10 ounces. And they did it in 3/9 rather than 4/9. So yeah, I was finally able to pick up a RCM kilo bar, and I think that's going to be one of my new kilos I'm going to start stacking. They're awesome. They're really cool.
That's awesome. Mrs. Triple P just showed me. I got to say this since I know Trident's in the chat right now. She just showed me Trident's channel, and apparently Trident and Mrs. Trident have finally released their week 3 fantasy football recap. And I've been waiting for this, and so has Mrs. Triple P, and she wanted to watch it, and I fucking gave her the middle finger and told her, you better fucking wait, because we're watching this shit together. So for the record, we have this like the side chat with everyone who's in this fantasy football league, and Mrs. Triple P, Mrs. Trident, and Silver and Gold Stack Attack, I believe, are the only teams left that are undefeated. So, and I believe Trident is 0-3, and I am 1-2. So the women are kind of gloating about how badly they're kicking our asses, supposedly. I haven't had a chance to watch the video yet. Chuck Stacks is undefeated? Yeah. Okay, so 14 teams, and there's 4 teams that are undefeated, and half of them are women. So Trident just says, it's terrible. Fantasy football sucks. I hate my life. JK Pioneer said he watched it. Silver and Cigar said, saw it. Mrs. Trident talks shit about beating me. So I can't wait to see it. I'm actually having so much fun. I've never played fantasy football before. I'm a fantasy football virgin. And I'm
taking your virginity.
Yeah, Trident has robbed me of my virginity. And I actually enjoyed it. So I'm actually thinking about maybe doing it again next year, and maybe even starting another league for other pilots at work next year. See if I can get a work league going too. So anyways, I just had to bring that up because Mrs. Triple P just showed me her phone, and she's like, I want to watch the fucking video.
I just want to make a quick announcement, which is really exciting for me. I mean, it's great news, and I'm so hyped about it. But Scott, I got an email from Scottsdale Mint a few weeks back. They reached out to me and they said, we appreciate your videos about us that I've done in the past. They appreciate me having their link to their website in my description since I started YouTube. And you're on YouTube, you're not thinking you're going to get, I didn't think I was going to get to 100 subscribers or even get this far But I really didn't think that one of my favorite mints was really keeping an eye on my channel and my content. So when I got, when they reached out to me, you know, saying how thankful they are, telling me how thankful they are of my content and my channel, you know, it was really, really cool, you know. And they reached out and they asked me if I can be an ambassador to Scottsdale and gave me an affiliate link. And now I accepted it, and I can get, you know, I'll get coupons from Scottsdale Mint. I have an affiliate link from Scottsdale Mint, and I guess I'm officially sponsored by Scottsdale Mint. So, you know, if anyone wants to, you know, check out Scottsdale Mint or check out their awesome products, and also, you know, give me a little kickback. It's not going to cost you any extra using this link. You know, it's obviously the price is the price, regardless if you type it their website in on your search bar or if you click my link. The only difference is when you buy through my link, you know, I get a little percentage. Nothing crazy. I mean, I think for like every, you know, ounce you buy, I maybe get 25 cents or something like that. But I mean, it's cool. It helps. So the link right there, I posted it. It's on the screen. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's scottsdalemint.com shop, SLD, Patrioticstacker. That's my affiliate link. I'll also throw it in the comments here. And I'll also be getting coupons soon. So, you know, people can get like, I don't know what the percentages are. If you get how much percentage off, much, you know, dollars you get off or anything like that. But I'm sure, you know, every little bit helps when you're buying your metals, right? But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. My affiliate link will be on all my future videos. It's
Dude,
actually
that's
on
awesome.
my latest video, and I also posted a community tab announcing the Scottsdale sponsor and their affiliate link. And then I'm also looking forward to interviewing the CEO founder very soon, hopefully.
Holy
So,
cow.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you know, Scottsdale Mint, dude, I've been stacking their shit since I started, and they're one of my favorite mints of all time. Just good old American silver, right? You know,
From what I
you know,
understand, they're a fairly Christian company from what I heard.
very Christian, very patriotic. I mean, you know, the variety of stuff they have is amazing. I mean, not many people know this. You know, a lot of people think of Scottsdale as a generic, you know, private mint, generic bar, you know, generic, you know, like Silvertown or Sunshine, right? Just generic silver, right? Private mint. But they make coins and bars for, I think, over 30 countries. I call them secondary government mint, but like they make coins for like Tuvalu and you know, Congo, a lot of South African countries, South American countries, little island countries in the Pacific and Atlantic. They make a lot of government-backed bullion, gold and silver, and then obviously their classic Scottsdale bars, right? You know, they're 20-ounce Kit Kats, or 10-ounce stackers, you know, they're 10-ounce kilo, their Tombstone series, you know. Scottsdale is awesome. And they also sell regular, you know, Eagles, Maples on their site as well. So they're, you know, also a bullion dealer. They sell, you know, all types of bullion. You can buy Buffaloes and Gold Eagles off them. A lot of poured stuff, a lot of cast stuff, press stuff. I mean, I don't need to really explain it. Scottsdale, you know, most people in the community, it's become a household name, you know, in our little community here. And yeah, you know, it's just exciting news. Awesome. I'm hyped about that. Oh, thanks, Craig, for showing the link, posting the link in the chat. Yeah, guys, if you guys want to buy some stuff from Scottsdale, you can use my link. Eventually I'll get some coupons out there. You still there, Triple P? Lose you. Would you lose you? Did your phone die?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. I was like, what the hell? I said, I think you're the first affiliate that I know of for Scottsdale. Are you the first, or are there others? Because I don't know of anybody else
I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's other affiliates out there. I couldn't tell you. I just know that they emailed me. They reached out to me. I reached out to a few friends of mine in the community. And obviously some of the ones I've talked to didn't get any affiliate or ambassador program with them, but I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure Dragons or Yankees got it. Wouldn't surprise me just the slightest. But as far as smaller channel, I think I might be the only one at where the range I'm in. But
you're no longer a smaller channel, Patriotic.
I'm not a small channel, but I'm not a huge. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not a huge channel.
But I mean, you have built up a very solid name and reputation for yourself in this community.
Yeah.
And I know Oceans is an affiliate of, I believe, for AppMex too. So if y'all need anything from Scottsdale, go get Patriotic's link. And if you need anything from AppMex, go see Silver Oceans.
Absolutely. Silver Heist is also an affiliate with AppMex as well.
Okay. All right. Or Silver Heist or Silver Oceans. Either one of them. They're both great guys.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but dude, I was so happy. At first, I kind of thought it was a scam. When they first reached out to me, because you never know. It's like denial, right? Your favorite mint reaches out to you, and you're kind of like, really? But no, it's 100% legit, and I mean, it's awesome. It really is cool. And like
that's
I said,
awesome, bro.
It's no extra cost to anybody. There's no markups to anybody. It just brings you to the Scottsdale site when you click on my link, and then when you purchase something under my link, I just get a small kickback. That's all it is. There's no extra cost to you, no extra shipping. Obviously, Scottsdale takes that's their cost. Obviously, they're going to lose a little because that's their cost of having me advertise their company. They're willing to throw me a few cents or a few dollars per purchase, depending what you buy. But yeah, freaking great news, man.
Well, that's awesome, bro. Congratulations. That's good news.
Trident says his channel took off when he plastered my face on his homepage singing Tiny Tim. Tiptoe through the tulips. Shit.
Well, I think, how long have we been on? A little over an hour now, right?
Hour and 13 minutes today.
I think maybe call it a night and show up back again next Tuesday, Patriotic?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well,
I appreciate that, West Texas, man. I really appreciate that.
That was, and I agree with him. You're a great guy. You have great content. You have a great channel, and you've been loyal to Scottsdale Mint for as long as I've known you. So I agree. They couldn't have picked a better person.
And let me just respond on that guy. He says, good Patriot. I just don't know how to feel about big anything. I hope your channel, etc., doesn't get traded like a commodity. No, man, like I've said to people, no matter where this YouTube thing goes or how big it goes or whatever, my content's going to be the same. I'm going to respond to people. Nothing's going to change. I'm not like that. You know, this at the end of the day, it's just something I do for fun. This is something I do to share. You know, to find something in common with other people. You know, because where else can I talk about this stuff? You know what I mean? There's not many people want to hear about this. You know, and it's become like a second family to me. This community, if I started YouTube for money or doing this for a living, I wouldn't get far. So like I said, no matter how big the channel gets or whatever direction it goes, nothing's gonna change. You'll still watch my videos and there'll still be fuck ups and me saying wrong words and pronouncing things wrong. I'm not gonna change. It is what it is. That's why people ask me too. Oh, why don't you get a better camera? Why don't you get a better audio? Why don't you spend money to make your videos better? And I have no interest. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like, you know what? Literally, when I film a video, I plug my phone into the tripod. I take one take. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, sounds good, and I upload it. That's pretty much it. There's nothing else to it. You'll have guys that'll be working on a video all day, 2 days, 3 days. Not me. I just have something on my mind. I say it. If it comes out right, if it comes out wrong, some days are better than others, and that's how I do it.
Well, that's how both of us are. I mean, I think everyone who's in the chat right now can attest to the fact that your videos and my videos are really not that much different than our live stream on Tuesday nights. I mean, we just shoot from the hip. We're both, call it as we see it. And I think maybe sometimes I tend to be a little bit more blunt than you, but you can be blunt as well. And people either love it or they hate it, and either way, that's okay. And I think originality is one of the coolest things that both of us bring to the table. So yeah, that. I don't see that ever changing for you in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing that might be different is, our channels, we might get more subs, we might get more views, we might get more companies reaching out to us, but as people, from, being, if our channels were small or big, we're not going to change. And we're not going to stop doing what we do and what we like to do. And I'm sure the hell not going to block comments and charge people membership fees in order to watch my content. Or if I put out a controversial video like some and block the comments so I can't hear your hate. We know a few people that do that, right?
I have never ever turned off the comments on a video, nor will I ever do that. But that's just me.
I'm the same way. And listen, I get hate comments every day on my videos. There's always those few assholes that need to comment and start their shit. And whenever you have the free time, you should go on my videos and look at some of the comments and the responses I respond back. I hit him with the mom jokes, I hit him with the mom. This one guy says, he was a dick about it. He says, this was the last video, the one that just did really well. He says, "Oh, your audio's down. You're soft spoken. Goodbye." I responded back. I said, "Your mom wasn't soft spoken. Her ass was yelling."
Yeah,
what are they gonna say to that, man? What are they gonna say to that? And then the other guy said the same thing, and this, I knew it was bullshit because everyone in the comments were, great video, awesome, great topic. You had these 3 or 4 assholes that said the audio was bad, so you obviously knew it was on their end. And then this one guy said, "Open your ears. Clearly you're deaf," or some shit.
Some people just like to troll. It is what it is. I just blow it off. I don't pay any attention to people like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I used to kind of, when I first started and I get these comments that are like, "Oh, I'm sorry you didn't like the video, hopefully next video I'll win you over." I would kind of like feel bad and really hurt beat myself up because someone didn't like my video. Now, I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. If
Yeah.
you're going to come out and just start your shit, I'm going to say something so stupid and so ridiculous, you're not going to know what to say back.
So take some of the big YouTube channels, and I know we're going to call it a night, but let me just close with this. Take some of the big YouTube channels, not even in the stacking community. Like go to pick your topic here. Like the gun channels get a ton of subs and a ton of views. Like there's going to be something you're going to say on that video that has 1 million views that's going to piss off a couple thousand people. And you just
Exactly.
can't let that bother you, because you're looking at, the general response of the video, not what a couple of trolls may think. And you just can't. I mean, I've done gun videos, and by and large, my gun stuff, that's the thing. My gun stuff gets more hits than anything. And I do more stacking stuff than gun stuff. But my gun videos, my highest viewed videos are gun videos.
Yeah.
And even on like my highest viewed videos, there's always going to be some people that say you're an idiot and you don't know what you're talking about. And you just like, you can't let that bother you. And I know when it comes to self-defense and when it comes to training and when it comes to firearms, I mean, hell, you know more about my background than anybody even in the chat knows. You know what my background is, and
Yeah.
you know some of the shit that I've seen. So I just it almost can be offensive if you let it be offensive, but you can't. You just got to let it run down your back and move on.
Exactly. And this shit used to beat me up in the beginning. It really did. Not like to the point I would take it outside of YouTube and be like dread on it all day, but it would, while I was on YouTube, that would, aggravate me, kind of upsetting. But now, dude, the last the last year and a half, I just, I'm not going to be a dick and block the comments because, I'm not spectacular. I'm not going to do that. That's what he does. I don't do that. You're free to leave your hate. You're free to leave your love. You're free to leave whatever you want to leave. But if you're going to be some smart ass fuck, I'm going to give it back to you. And like I said, I'm going to say something so dumb and not something mean or argue with someone. That's the last thing I want to do. I don't want to argue over comments. But like, my response would be something dumb, like a kindergartner would say, and be like, your mom. And that always gets them because they never know what to say. Or better yet, this is real fun. This is the fun part. This is what I'll do too. I'll pin that comment. Now, usually people find a comment and they pin the comment that's given them the most praise, or pinning a comment with the most info. I'll pin the comment that's the most hated on the video, the most dumbest comment. And I just
I've never
let
thought
my
about doing
subscribers
that.
have a ball. Huh?
That's a hell of a thought. I've never thought about doing that.
Dude, and my subscribers, they have a ball, man. They sit there and they ram into them. So I don't even have to do anything. I just pin it and put a smiley face, and then they go at it. And I'm just laughing. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah. So now you sound pretty fucking stupid. That was like the one guy crying because I stack a lot and I'm able to stack a lot. And that guy, I'm like, listen, dude, I worked for what I had. This is blood, sweat, and tears that are able to bring this shit to my door. I said, and this is just how I save money. I said, you can do this too. You might not make as much, or, maybe you even make more. Who knows? But you can't blame that person. You know what I mean? Everybody's different. Everybody goes about life a different way. But,
Sure.
dude, I busted my ass for this. And no one's going to take that away from me. You know what I mean? Never be discouraged of your own stack or what you make or whatever. If you don't like what you make, go and find something better. Do something better. But in the meantime, while you're making that money, listen, as long as you're doing you and you're providing for you and your family and your kids or whatever, that's it. You know what I mean? Who cares if you can only buy an ounce a week, an ounce a month, or 500 ounces a month? You know, everybody's different. But I pinned that comment because the guy was, really rude about it. And he had so many responses that he actually emailed me, pretty much pouring out his heart. And then I felt bad, and I'm like, listen, dude, I understand where you're coming from, but you just gotta watch what you say, watch what you do. I said, you do shit like that, it's just gonna make you look petty. Instead of complaining and writing that comment, what you should have been doing is finding a job that pays more, finding a side hustle, finding a way to make more money so you can have more things, or find a way to appreciate what you do have instead of taking your anger out on a comment.
Sure.
And he's like, you're right. You're absolutely right. I said, yeah, I know I'm right. I said, but I understand. I said, dude, I don't care what anybody in this community says. You'll see a stacker that stacks more than you. Look at Sal. I look at Sal's stack, and I know my stack's big. I stack the fuck out of my stack. But I look at Sal's stack, and I'm like, holy shit, only if. But guess what? Deep down in my head, I know Sal's been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah.
Sal's
Yeah.
twice my age. Sal busted his ass for that.
I saw that video where he ripped out 200 ounces of gold, and
Yeah.
like I swear I had drool hanging from my mouth that was touching the floor, and it was still attached to my mouth.
Exactly.
I mean, I was like, I was blown away, and then I'm like, me and my piddly little sorry ass 40 ounces of gold, and then I started thinking about it. I'm like, hold on a minute, Sal has basically 500 times more than I have. But I've only been stacking 3 years, and he's been stacking 1,000 times longer than me, 10 times longer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I guess I'm really not in that bad of shape. Because I'm like, if I could keep up 40 ounces every 3 years, then at 30 years, that ends up being a lot and a lot and a lot of gold.
Exactly.
So, at the end of the day, what people have to, and this is probably one of the hardest things about stacking, and I even struggle with it sometimes, is you have to keep in mind that it's not a race. You're not racing nobody. You're only doing it for yourself and for your family. And at the end of the day, I will never be able to stack the way you stack. And, somebody else might not be able to stack the way that I stack, and that's fine. But even if you buy, 5 or 6 ounces of silver a year, even if you buy 1 ounce of silver every 2 months, 6 ounces a year, that still is leaps and bounds more than 99% of the population.
Exactly.
So it's something. And
when I tell people too, I said, listen, if you really want to hit a milestone, all you need is 500 ounces of silver to be 1%. I said, 500 ounces of silver, and to some that's a lot, but that's a goal that can be achieved for most people.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up, because I was talking to my buddy Pistol Pack and Pastor the other day, and he just achieved one of his goals, which was, I don't even know if I should say this. He might be saving it for a video, and I'm going to screw it up for him, but he can bitch me out later. He was trying to get 100 ounces, and he just surpassed the 100-ounce of silver mark. And, for somebody like me and you, that's not really close to what we've been able to stack, but he's just a humble pastor. He's a humble pastor that does not make a very big salary. He chose his career because it's something that he believes in, and he does it because it satisfies him. And for him to surpass 100 ounces of silver is probably the equivalent of me surpassing 1,000 ounces of silver. I mean, it's a huge milestone. So he was asking me what should he pick for the next goal. So I've been trying to help him figure out his next goal, because he just completed one of them. But the point is that you're just racing yourself. That's all you are. It's
Exactly.
just you, and you. You don't have to worry about anybody else.
And this is the way to look at it too. Now, this is what I tell people. So stacking gold and silver at the end of the day, it's a savings. It's a savings account for us. At the end of the day, that's the main purpose of gold and silver. It's a savings. It's another way to store your money. I say, from the minute you're 18 years old, you get your first job, to the minute you retire, you save. You're always throwing money if you can, whatever extra money you can. You throw it in the safe, you throw it in your bank, you throw it in your binder, whatever way you want to save it. Throw it in an envelope. You try to save money. If it's even $5 a week, $100 a month, $1,000 a month, you're always trying to save money. Well, it takes long term. It's a long time. Holy fuck, that's loud.
It's a Jake brake on a semi truck. I can hear it from here.
Oh my god. But anyways, it's long term. You're saving for the long term. Just like when you get your first job and you get a 401k. It takes a long time to build that up. But you're saving for the long term. So if you can only buy 3 ounces of silver per week, you can only spend, say, $100 or $50 a week or whatever. By the time you're retired, you'll have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 ounces of silver.
Oh, yeah.
So look at it that way. I mean, you can be a whale and drop tons of money out of the gate, and just get full-blown addicted. You know what I mean? But, if you have good self-control and you're disciplined, look at it that way. Oh, wow, my stack's building along with my cash savings, along with my Roth IRA, along with my 401k. Look at it that way. Everybody's
I want to address something that old man Jenkins just said, because it goes hand in hand with a little bit of what we're talking about. A lot of it is a psychology battle with yourself too. Old man Jenkins said, next time tell him this, he should get 3 ounces of gold coins. So Pastor got himself a 1/10 ounce gold eagle, and I sent him a tube on a link for a tube from, I think it was On Fire Guy. And I said, buy this tube. And he's like, why? And I said, because this tube will hold 20 1/10 ounce gold coins. So that's your next goal, is stack 20 1/10 ounce gold eagles. That's 2 ounces of gold when you fill that tube. And I said, eventually, when you get that tube with all those empty capsules, that tube is going to start talking to you. And you're going to start looking at that tube and realizing you need to fill that fucking tube. And guess what? He just ordered his second 1/10 ounce gold eagle. So, a lot of it is like just trying to keep yourself focused on completing these goals and tubes. KJ Stacks said the same thing. He just filled his first tube. A lot of it comes down to just psychology with yourself. It's like me ordering that freaking empty monster box. Now I got an empty monster box that's fucking talking to me. Patriotic, I started working on that monster box, a couple months ago? How long ago? 3 months ago, maybe?
Yeah. How many tubes did you have in that to start off with? How many tubes of eagles did you have to start off with?
I want to say about 4 or 5 tubes, I want to say. Maybe 6.
Didn't you have 200 ounces of eagles when you started off, I thought?
Mrs. Triple P, how many did we have when we started?
You said you had 10 tubes.
It was less than 10. It was probably somewhere between 5 and 10. Maybe it was 5 or 6. Even if it was 10, let's just say it was 10.
You stacked 300 ounces of silver eagles in 2 months' time.
Yeah, so even if it was 10, which I don't think it was 10, I think it was somewhere between 5 and 10. But even if it was 10, I now have 24. So I bought a minimum of 14 tubes of silver eagles at a minimum in 3 months.
Yeah.
I mean, that empty box was fucking talking to me. And now I just got another tube of maples. Now that empty maple box is talking to me. So anyways, my point is not to gloat or to say, look what I got, because it doesn't mean diddly shit. My point is that when you do things to help yourself stay focused, it's a psychology game that you play with yourself, and you end up finding ways to have money to buy metals, to put something to the side for savings for you and your family for a later date.
Exactly.
But anyways, it's getting kind of late, brother. So I think we call it a night. What do you say?
Absolutely. And listen, I'm gonna do more research on that trip.
Yes,
And,
yes, I'm serious about that. If we can get other stackers that want to go too, I mean, fucking hell
Silver
yeah,
Gold
jump
Stack
on
Attack's definitely Silver Gold Stack Attack's definitely gonna come. You know, I think him and his wife, me, my wife, and the kids, and then you and your wife and the kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, obviously, I will talk numbers before I go ahead and book it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna fucking book a $15,000 house and then say, all right, you owe me $5,000. You know, we're gonna talk numbers first. You know, we'll figure it all out.
Please don't do that. I think I'm game if it's like $2,000 or $3,000, but I don't want to pay $5,000.
No, dude, who are you talking to here? You know what I mean? You know, but yeah, we'll figure that out. And thanks again, guys, for this awesome stream. Again, you know, if you want some beautiful Scottsdale mint silver, Scottsdale mint gold, there's my affiliate link right there on the screen. It's also in the chat. Craig, if you want to throw that in there again, I appreciate it. Yeah, you know, I get a little kickback when you buy something from Scottsdale. Again, no extra cost. And, you know, soon I'll have some coupons and stuff so people can, you know, save a little more on Scottsdale products. But, dude, it was awesome, Triple P. And
yeah, it was a great stream. Great chat. Thanks for everybody who joined in, and we'll see you guys back next Tuesday night.
I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Take care.